All right, so today we're doing something a little different. We're not going to be looking at, data or news or anything like that. We're going to be doing a deep dive into something a little more personal, a source that feels almost like a guide, like a map to something incredible within us.
I like it.
Yeah, and it's all about uncovering what it calls your secret power.
Okay, secret
Yeah.
power. I'm intrigued already. What kind of source are we talking about here?
It's definitely got a kind of mysterious vibe to it. It's a motivational piece, almost spiritual in its approach. And one of the things that really hooked me were these vivid ideas it presents, like comparing our consciousness to a still lake and practices like sacred silence to help us tap into this power that's within.
A lake.
Huh.
That's an interesting image. I'm curious to hear more about that.
Yep.
But first, let's just break it down.
Yeah.
What exactly is the secret power the source keeps mentioning?
Yeah. So it describes the secret power as like a wellspring of wisdom and strength, a connection to something bigger than ourselves. And it emphasizes that it exists in everyone.
Okay.
It's not something you have to earn or develop. It's already there.
So it's more like remembering something we've forgotten.
Yes, exactly. And that's what makes it so exciting, because the source claims that by tapping into the secret power, we can see positive changes like ripple out across our entire lives, relationships, creativity, even down to how we view the material world.
Really? That's a
Yeah.
pretty bold claim.
Yeah,
It sounds almost too good to be true.
it does.
But I gotta admit, I am a sucker for a good metaphor.
All right.
So let's go back to that lake analogy for a second. What is the source trying to convey with that image?
Yeah, it's powerful, right?
Yeah.
So the source uses this image of a still lake to represent our consciousness. And the surface of the lake, that's where all our everyday thoughts, our worries, to-do lists, all that mental chatter.
Okay, I got it. So what about the depths? Is that where the secret power comes in?
Exactly. The depths of the lake symbolize that untapped potential, that wellspring of wisdom the source refers to. It's this idea that beneath the surface of our busy minds, there's this reservoir of calm and insight just waiting to be tapped.
You know what? That analogy really hits home for me. There's definitely been times in my life when I felt so disconnected from my own intuition, just going through the motions, completely oblivious to anything deeper, like I was stuck on the surface of that lake, totally missing out on the richness below.
Wow. Yeah, that's such a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what the source is getting at, that
Yeah.
there's so much more to us than we realize. It's like we're capable of diving deep, but we often forget we have that ability.
So how do we rediscover that ability?
Yeah.
How do we dive deep and tap into the secret power?
Well, the source offers some specific practices to help us kind of awaken this power. And one of the key ones is what it calls sacred silence.
Sacred silence.
Huh.
That sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
Yeah, so it's all about intentionally carving out moments of quiet throughout your day.
Okay.
The source suggests finding a space where you won't be disturbed and simply being present in the silence. Not trying to force your mind to be blank, but just letting thoughts come and go without judgment.
It sounds kind of like meditation. And you know, those short bursts of meditation can actually reduce stress hormones and improve focus.
Right.
But does the source explain why this practice is so important for connecting with our secret power?
It does. It emphasizes that in our noisy, hyper-connected world, true silence is rare. And it's in those moments of stillness that we can start to hear our inner voice more clearly. That whisper of intuition the source equates with our secret power.
It's like trying to have a conversation at a rock concert. You need to create some space for the subtleties to come through.
Exactly. It's like tuning into a different frequency. But sacred silence is just one technique. The source also talks about the power of visualization.
Oh, visualization. I've dabbled in that before. How does that apply to all this?
Well, it suggests using visualization for all sorts of things, from boosting your confidence to getting clarity about your life's purpose. There's just one example that really stuck with me. It involves visualizing yourself standing at a crossroads.
Okay, hold on. Crossroads. I gotta hear this. Crossroads.
Yeah.
That's loaded with symbolism. What happens at the crossroads?
Each path represents a different direction your life could take. And the source suggests that you call upon your secret power to guide you, to show you which path resonates most deeply with your true calling.
Okay, I love that. It's not about having all the answers figured out logically,
Right.
but rather tapping into that deeper level of knowing, that gut feeling that often points us in the right direction.
Yeah. And the source even encourages you to engage all your senses in the visualization. Don't just see the crossroads, but feel the ground beneath your feet, hear the sounds around you. The more vivid you make it, the more impactful it becomes.
It's like you're creating a mini movie in your mind. almost like a simulation to help you explore different possibilities and connect with your intuition. I'm curious, so does the source talk about how to know if you're on the right path?
Hmm.
Like, how do you distinguish between intuition and wishful thinking?
That's a really insightful question and one we'll delve into more later on.
Okay.
But for now, the source emphasizes the power of simply asking. It highlights the importance of asking empowering questions to tap into your secret power.
Okay, give me some examples. What kind of questions are we talking about?
Things like, what would my highest self do in this situation? Or, how is this experience helping me express my secret power more fully?
Okay, I like that. They're simple, yet profound.
Mhm.
And by framing our challenges in that way, it's like we're inviting our secret power to step in and guide us.
Exactly. And that's what's so exciting about this whole concept. It's not just about passive reflection or wishful thinking. It's about actively engaging with our inner wisdom and using it to navigate the challenges and opportunities of life.
So far, we've been talking about the secret power in a pretty abstract way.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering how this actually plays out in real life.
Yeah,
Does the source offer any concrete examples?
it absolutely does. And that's what we'll explore next. The source provides examples of how this secret power can affect our relationships, how we approach problem solving, and even how we view the material world.
Okay, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really interesting. I'm eager to hear how this concept translates into tangible changes in our lives.
So let's start with relationships.
Okay.
The source suggests that when we approach relationships from a place of wholeness, things start to shift dramatically.
Wholeness. I'm not sure I fully grasp what that means. Can you unpack that a bit?
Yeah, sure. So it's about recognizing that we are already complete and whole within ourselves. We don't need other people to complete us or make us happy. Instead, we approach relationships as an opportunity to share our abundance, our love, our joy.
That's a beautiful concept.
Yeah.
But how does that actually play out in real-world interactions?
Great question. The source says it changes everything. We become less needy, less clingy, and more present in our relationships. We listen more deeply, respond with greater compassion, and navigate conflicts with more wisdom and grace.
I can see how that shift from a place of scarcity to a place of abundance could have a profound impact on our relationships.
Yeah.
But what about problem solving? Does the source address how tapping into our secret power can help us overcome challenges?
Yes, it does. It suggests that our secret power can unlock a level of creativity and intuition that goes beyond our typical logical thinking. It's about accessing those aha moments, those flashes of insight that seem to come out of nowhere.
So instead of just relying on our rational minds,
Mm.
we're tapping into a deeper source of knowing. I'm a little skeptical,
Yeah.
but I'm willing to hear more.
Yeah.
Does the source offer any practical tips for how to do this?
It does. It suggests that when you're facing a problem, instead of immediately trying to analyze it with your logical mind, you take a few deep breaths, connect with your secret power, and simply ask for guidance.
Huh.
Trust that the solution will emerge in its own time, perhaps in a way you wouldn't expect.
I'm just curious about the potential drawbacks of relying solely on intuition. Could it lead to us making impulsive decisions or ignoring important logical considerations? Does the source address that at all?
That's a great point, and one we can definitely dig into more later on. But for now, the source emphasizes the importance of being open to those intuitive nudges, trusting that our secret power is guiding us towards the best possible outcome.
So far, we've talked about how this secret power can affect our relationships and our problem-solving abilities. But something I'm really curious about is how this concept influences our relationship with the material world. Money, possessions, success, those things our society often equates with happiness.
Yeah, that's such an important aspect, and one the source doesn't shy away from.
Okay.
It offers a very interesting perspective on how our secret power can help us experience abundance in a whole new way.
All right, I'm all ears. How does it suggest we view material wealth and success through the lens of this secret power?
Well, it's not about denying the material world or rejecting wealth.
Right.
It's more about shifting our focus from constantly striving for more to a deeper appreciation for what we already have.
Okay, so cultivating gratitude for the abundance that already exists in our lives. Exactly. I like that. But does the source explain how this shift in perspective actually leads to greater material blessings?
It suggests that when we align with our secret power, we become more attuned to opportunities and resources that are in alignment with our highest good.
So it's not about chasing after things from a place of lack or scarcity, but rather attracting them from a place of alignment and purpose. Fascinating.
Mhm.
Does the source offer any examples of how this might manifest in someone's life?
That's a great question, and it's something we can definitely explore further as we continue our deep dive.
Okay.
But for now, I think it's important to acknowledge that the source doesn't sugarcoat things.
Okay.
It recognizes that even when we tap into our secret power, life won't always be easy. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable.
That's true. Life is full of ups and downs.
Right.
I'm curious to hear how the source suggests we approach those challenges through the lens of this secret power. Does it offer any guidance on how to navigate those inevitable difficult times?
Absolutely. And that's where we'll pick up in the next part of our deep dive. The source offers a powerful reframing of challenges, encouraging us to see them not as obstacles to be avoided, but as opportunities for growth and transformation. It even provides a specific question to ask ourselves during difficult times that can help us tap into our inner strength and resilience.
You've really piqued my curiosity now.
Mm.
I can't wait to hear what that question is and how we can use it to navigate the challenges life throws our way.
Yeah.
Let's dive into that next.
Welcome back. I'm really excited to dive into this reframing of challenges you mentioned.
Yeah.
We've been exploring all these amazing benefits of tapping into our secret power.
Oh, wait.
But realistically, life isn't always smooth sailing.
No, it's not. And the source acknowledges that.
Yeah.
It, recognizes that we'll still face difficulties even when we're connected to this deeper part of ourselves.
Okay, so how does this suggest we approach those inevitable bumps in the road?
Well, instead of viewing challenges as obstacles to be avoided,
Okay.
it encourages us to see them as opportunities.
Great. Opportunities for growth. For growth and transformation.
Okay, I've heard that idea before, turning setbacks into learning experiences.
Right.
But sometimes it's easier said than done.
It is.
So how does the source actually help us make that shift?
Well, it provides this specific question to ask ourselves when things get tough.
Okay, what's the question?
It is, how is this experience calling forth my secret power more fully?
That's a really good question. It immediately changes the focus.
Yeah.
Instead of feeling like a victim of circumstance,
Right.
you're acknowledging the potential for growth
Yeah.
within the challenge itself.
Yeah, it's like we're inviting our secret power to kind of step in and show us the way, to use this experience to become even stronger and more resilient.
It's almost like the challenge itself becomes the key to unlocking a deeper level of our secret power.
Right.
Instead of asking, why me, we're asking, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
How can I grow from this?
Exactly. And that's a much more empowering and productive approach. Instead of getting stuck in negativity or self-pity, we're actively seeking solutions and opportunities for growth.
So even when we're facing adversity, we can still tap into our secret power and use it to kind of navigate the situation
Yeah.
in a way that leads to positive transformation.
Yeah.
Does the source offer any examples of what that might look like?
Mhm.
Like, how would someone actually apply this question in a real-life situation?
That's a great question. And I think a lot of listeners are probably wondering the same thing.
Yeah.
While the source doesn't provide specific examples, it does suggest that the answers will be unique to each individual and their circumstances.
Yeah.
But I think the key is in the shift of focus.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that our secret power, that inner wisdom, likely holds the guidance we need.
Right. It makes sense. It's not about having some formulaic response.
Right.
But rather cultivating that connection to our inner wisdom so that we can respond from a place of strength and clarity.
Exactly. It reminds me of a time when I was facing a pretty major career setback. I felt completely lost and discouraged.
Yeah, I've been there.
But then I remembered this whole concept of reframing challenges,
Yeah.
And I started asking myself that question.
Right.
How is this experience calling forth my secret power more fully?
What happened?
Well, it completely shifted my perspective.
Yeah.
Instead of dwelling on what I'd lost,
Yeah.
I started focusing on what I could learn from the experience.
Right.
I began to see the situation as an opportunity to reevaluate my goals,
Okay.
to step outside my comfort zone,
Yeah.
and to explore new possibilities I hadn't even considered before.
That's a fantastic example.
Mm-hmm.
It really highlights how a simple shift in mindset
Yeah.
can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
It's not about ignoring the difficulty,
Right.
but rather looking for the potential within it.
And the source reminds us that our secret power contains all the strength, the courage, the resilience we need to overcome any obstacle.
Okay.
It might not be easy, but it's always possible.
It's like we have this incredible inner resource that we can draw upon whenever we need it.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of remembering that it's there and learning how to access it.
Exactly. And, speaking of inner resources, the source also suggests that our secret power can have a really profound impact on our physical well-being.
Really? That's interesting. I'm curious to hear more about that connection
Yeah.
because most of what we've discussed so far has been focused on mental and emotional well-being.
Yeah.
So how does the secret power tie into our physical health?
Well, the source emphasizes that our physical body is not separate from our spiritual self.
Okay.
It's an integral part of who we are, and it's intimately connected to our secret power.
So by tapping into our secret power, we can actually improve our physical health. I'm a little skeptical, but I'm open to hearing more.
Yeah.
Does it explain how that works?
Well, it doesn't go into the specific science of it,
Okay.
but it suggests that our secret power knows exactly what our body needs to thrive. The right foods, the most beneficial forms of movement, the perfect balance of rest and activity.
I have heard this idea before about our bodies having an innate wisdom.
Right.
And while I tend to lean on science for answers,
Yeah.
there's definitely something to be said for intuition and listening to those subtle signals our bodies send us.
Absolutely. And the source provides a simple practice to help us strengthen that connection between our secret power and our physical body.
Okay, what is it?
Well, it suggests taking a few moments each day to place your hands on your heart
Okay,
and send love and appreciation to your body.
right,
Acknowledge all the incredible work it does to keep you alive and thriving,
right.
and then ask your secret power to guide you towards choices that support your optimal health and vitality.
Hmm, that's interesting. It's almost like we're bridging the gap between our conscious minds and the innate wisdom of our bodies.
Yeah.
I could see that leading to some pretty profound shifts in our habits and behaviors.
Exactly. It might be a nudge to eat more fruits and vegetables, or to get more sleep, or to try a new form of exercise.
Okay.
The key is to be open to those intuitive prompts and to trust those inner nudges.
It's like we're becoming more attuned to our body's wisdom,
Yeah.
learning to listen to its signals and respond in a way that promotes health and well-being.
Yeah.
I'm curious, does the source delve into specific examples of how people have used this practice to improve their physical health?
That's a great question. And while the source doesn't offer, specific testimonials, it does emphasize the importance of trusting our inner wisdom when it comes to our bodies.
Right.
It suggests that we often override those subtle signals with, external advice or trendy diets,
Yeah.
when our own intuition might be a more reliable guide.
That resonates with me. It's about reclaiming our power and becoming active participants in our own health journey,
Right.
rather than just blindly following external dictates.
Uh,
I like,
Absolutely. And speaking of power, we can't forget about decision making. The source suggests that our secret power can revolutionize our approach to making choices.
decision making. Something I think we all struggle with from time to time.
For sure.
How can our secret power help us make better decisions?
Well, the source highlights how often we get caught up in endless analysis, weighing the pros and cons and still feeling uncertain.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
And it suggests that our inner wisdom can cut through all the noise of, conflicting opinions and logical arguments,
Good.
revealing the path that's truly right for us.
So instead of getting bogged down in endless analysis, we can tap into our intuition and allow our secret power to guide us.
Oh.
I'm curious, though, does the source address how we can tell the difference between genuine intuition and wishful thinking? Because those can sometimes feel awfully similar.
That's an excellent point. While the source doesn't delve into specific techniques for differentiating the two, it does emphasize the importance of creating space for stillness and reflection, like we talked about with sacred silence.
Right.
By quieting the mind, we can become more attuned to those whispers of intuition.
It makes sense. When we're constantly bombarded with external stimuli and internal chatter,
Right.
it can be tough to hear that inner voice of wisdom. But when we create space for silence and stillness, those intuitive nudges become much clearer.
Exactly. And that's why the source emphasizes practices like sacred silence and visualization throughout this whole exploration of our secret power.
Right.
They help us cultivate a deeper connection with our inner wisdom, allowing us to access its guidance in all areas of our lives.
This has been such an enlightening deep dive so far.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how this concept of secret power can be applied to so many aspects of life.
Me too.
From our relationships and our health to our decision-making and problem-solving ability.
Uh-huh.
It's a truly empowering concept.
I agree. And we're not quite done yet. In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore how our secret power can even transform our relationship with success and fulfillment.
Okay.
Those big picture questions we often wrestle with?
That sounds fascinating. I'm ready to dive even deeper and explore those big questions.
Yeah.
Let's see what this secret power has to say about finding true success and fulfillment.
All right, so welcome back to our deep dive into uncovering your secret power.
Okay.
We've talked about how it can impact, our relationships, our health, even how we face challenges. But now I want to get to the big one.
Yeah.
How this whole concept can change our view of success and fulfillment.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I feel like a lot of self-help stuff focuses on achieving goals. Yep. Getting to the top of that very external definition of success.
Right.
So does this source offer a different perspective?
It really does. It suggests that connecting with your secret power can totally shift your understanding of what success even means.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
Instead of chasing those external markers of success, what does it propose we focus on?
Aligning with your true purpose. Remember that visualization we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Standing at a crossroads with each path representing a different life direction.
Right.
Well, the source suggests that your secret power actually holds the blueprint for your unique contribution to the world.
So it's not about climbing any ladder,
Right.
but finding the right ladder to climb in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I've definitely taken a few detours in my own life trying to figure that out.
I think we all have.
Yeah.
And the source suggests that, when you start living in alignment with that purpose,
Mm-hmm.
the external stuff, the achievements, the recognition, those things often follow naturally.
It's like that saying, do what you love and the money will follow.
Yeah.
But here it's deeper. It's do what you're meant to do, what truly lights you up, and fulfillment will follow.
Yes. And that fulfillment, that deep sense of purpose and meaning is what the source defines as true success.
Okay.
It really challenges that, conventional idea that success equals wealth or status.
I've actually been thinking about this in relation to our earlier conversation about decision making.
Yeah.
If our secret power holds this blueprint for our purpose,
Yeah.
it would make sense that it could also guide us towards choices that align with that purpose,
Right.
even if they don't make logical sense at the time.
That's such a great connection. And it circles back to trusting that inner wisdom,
Yeah.
even when it seems to go against, what our rational minds are telling us.
Absolutely. I'm also wondering about how this idea of purpose plays out in real life.
Yeah.
Does the source give any examples of what a purpose-driven life might actually look like? Because I think a lot of people really struggle to even identify their purpose, let alone live it.
That's a really common struggle. And while the source doesn't provide, specific examples of individual purposes because each person's is unique, it does offer guidance on how to connect with that deeper knowing.
So what's the secret? How do we actually tap into that inner wisdom and discover our true calling?
It all comes back to those practices we've been talking about throughout this whole deep dive.
Okay.
Sacred silence visualization, asking those empowering questions.
Right.
It encourages us to weave those into our daily lives.
Yeah.
Create space to quiet the mind and really listen to that inner voice.
So it's like we're building a bridge to that part of ourselves that holds the answers.
Yeah,
And those practices are the tools we use to construct that bridge.
exactly. And the source reminds us to be patient. Awakening our secret power isn't an overnight process. It's a journey of self-discovery, and it unfolds at its own pace.
This has been such a rich conversation. We've explored this idea of secret power from so many different angles.
Yeah, we have.
Its potential to impact our relationships, our health, how we face challenges, and now even how we define success.
Yeah,
It's powerful stuff.
I completely agree. And as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with something to think about.
Okay.
Imagine you could ask your secret power one question right now. What would it be?
Wow, that's a good one. It really makes you stop and think about what you're searching for, what you're really hoping to understand,
Yeah,
and how this secret power might hold the key.
exactly. And maybe, just maybe, the answer is already whispering within you, just waiting to be heard. So keep exploring, keep practicing, and keep listening. You might be surprised by what you discover.